Hey, it's Adam Lugsch-Tehle, existential lifestyle coach. Listen, I was recently asked, Adam, is it okay to love an addict and not love his or her actions? Will you bet? In the past, that would have taken an act of God. Just a few years ago, really love an addict after all of the pain, all of the suffering that we experience as a result of that addiction. Nope. Thank you. Do not collect straight to jail pass. I don't know how else you want to say it. But over time, I realized that it was not only possible, it's in fact quite probable. And more, I learned that I had a way of controlling more than this than I had first realized. It wasn't about them. It wasn't about their drinking, for example. It was about me honoring and prioritizing my own self-care. You see, there's the possibility that the best version of ourselves will show up each and every single day. But how? When I do the things that I say I will do, when I develop confidence. Confidence in what? In myself, confidere, extreme trust. It all started with the New Year's resolution. I said, I'm going to prioritize my own self-care. So pop quiz, how long do you think it takes before the average American gives up on their New Year's resolutions? According to recent studies, are you ready? The startling fact is that the average American gives up on their New Year's resolutions 32 days into the Gregorian New Year. 32, like February 1st. In ancient India, 2,000 years ago, they came up with a word for that. It was a word for this tendency to give up on goals when things got just a little bit challenging. They called it aramba shura. If you were to translate that today, it would be to be a hero in the beginning. I want to be a hero not just in the beginning, not just when I feel like it. I want to be a hero showing up each and every moment, having strength for two, my secret weapon being love. So how do I show up with love for others and not for their addiction? Well, I rely on my own self-care. Many of my self-care practices, and by now it's well over 30 or 40 a day, surround sleep. In other words, it's really hard for me to have a bad day when I follow certain curfews, like digital sunset 6:30, no blue light in the house. Or when I'm in bed, eyes shut by 8. And yes, 8. And when I'm in bed for at least 8 to 9 hours. So recently, I have found that an equally important aspect of me showing up as the best, most heroic version of myself in my energy, in my work, and in my love, another element of my self-care practice, is this concept of the Breakfast of Champions. It's a journal that I complete during my AM bookend, first part of my day. So what I do in my Breakfast of Champions journal is I review my highlight reel, the moments that I'm most proud of in my life, knowing and remembering the inherent challenges as well as all of the positive qualities that showed up in me as I accomplished those set experiences. I call those hero bars. They're sweet, I love it, and they're also salty. They were difficult. For example, 13 years of marriage to my partner, Lindsay Lugsch-Tehle. Or second, the next thing I do is like to reflect on that day in that Breakfast of Champions, asking myself, what am I most grateful for in my energy, in my work, and in my love from the previous day? I like to tie these two virtues or tie virtues to these ideas as well. So for example, in my energy, I'm super grateful for being able to get up before the sun and embracing natural light therapy, take a forest bath, which just means you're taking a walk in the park with the trees. And I just really prepare my mind, my body, my spirit for a long day, committing to alternating rhythm or oscillation breaks throughout the day. That requires wisdom, it requires self-mastery, it requires courage. And then finally, in that Breakfast of Champions, I determine my wildly important goals for the day. Goals in my energy, in my work, and my love. And here I like to tie 2 or 3 virtues to those activities as well. So let me give you an example of my work target. If I say connect to clients, celebrate their wins, and challenge but inspire them to reach beyond what they think is possible so that they can accomplish what is in their mind, their wildly important goals. Well, that takes wisdom, that takes hope, and that takes courage. And then finally, I visit who I am at my best in my energy, in my work, and in my love, and I commit to what I call my sacred vow in each category. So let me give you an example of my sacred vow in love. celebrate my 50th wedding anniversary with Lindsay on the 1st of January, 2061. I have committed to, and I have completed this Breakfast of Champions journaling exercise for hundreds and hundreds of days. And I can tell you that I am unequivocally a better human being. I have more energy, I am more focused, I'm more dialed in, and I'm more loving, and I'm more connected to myself and to others. But that's not the tool, not the Breakfast of Champions in any case. If you want to love an addict and not love his or her actions, you need to start by developing your own confidence in your own self by committing to self-care that works for you, that helps ensure that you're showing up as the best version of yourself each and every day. The Breakfast of Champions is just one of many things that I do. So let's keep this super, super practical. And on this conversation of self-care, try this. Take a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, draw a line right down the middle. So for those teachers out there, it's just a simple T-chart. On the left-hand side of the page, I want you to write the word don't. And on the right-hand side of the page, I want you to write the word do. Step 3, I want you to write down what you don't do and what you do on your best days, on those days that you feel as though you are operating at that next best version of yourself. So what are you doing on those days? What actions do lead to more energy? What actions are leading to higher levels of productivity, of you being locked in? And what led to more connection, say, for example, with yourself, but also others? And do the opposite on the don't list. And then I want you to pick 2 or 3 from each side of the list. What's bringing you more energy? What's an energy innovator? What's taking away from? What's sapping that energy? What's sapping that productivity? What's taking away from that connection with self and others? And then step 5, you just repeat it. Listen, the bottom line is that when we do the things that we know are best for us, never perfectly, but more and more consistently, we develop trust in ourselves. That trust turns to self-esteem. That self-esteem leads to prioritizing not only our own self-care, but prioritizing ourself over trying to fix, manage, and control another person. And as a result, we're physically healthier than we perhaps have ever been before. We're living a more emotionally sober life, I would call it. And we're better equipped to handle the rough patches in our relationships with those that, really mean the most to us, especially those loved ones who are facing the effects of some kind of addiction. So here's to cultivating and then sticking with your own self-care practices today. It's day 1, all in, let's go, hero. Thanks for listening to the message, and here is to living unstoppably free today.